What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Yammie Noob back at it once again. I have good and bad news for you today. Let's start with the bad news. The Hentai Hornet, everyone's favorite ship bike. It's certainly my favorite ship bike that I've ever owned, looked at, or been near. Issue we're having with it is the rubber insulator clamps are on back order. They will only get here by January 21st, I think, so that's a ways away. There's a solution we have in which we take the existing rubber insulators that I bought off eBay that were used that are a little too hard to put on the intake manifold. We can soak those in oil. Ichiban Moto put out a video about revitalizing old rubber parts. So I'm gonna try that out, but basically what it boils down to is the Hentai Hornet is gonna take a teensy bit longer than what I thought, which is expected. It's a build series bike. I decided to do something about that. I thought that, I didn't want to wait 3 weeks to ride around. So here's the good news. That is good news, isn't it? That old shammy pube, where's Waldo looking ass? He's always up to something, isn't he? Yes, we are up to something, boys. This is a 2017 Yamaha FZ07. This is our new giveaway bike. And if you're wondering, no, we have not given up on the Hentai Hornet. That is getting done. I just wanted to buy the bike now because I couldn't wait. What did we do here? Basically, the way this went down was on our Patreon, on our Discord server where I chat with all the patrons. I put a vote out. I listed about 5 or 6 different motorcycles and asked, hey, what do you guys want to see for our next giveaway? I wanted to do something that was a bit newer, that wouldn't require as much work because, to be honest, it's really not that much fun filming videos of me renting on that bike over there. And I'm really bad at it. So I was like, what am I good at? I'm good at being entertaining on camera, and I'm good at buying bikes, apparently. I've done that a lot, and crashing them, I guess. Anyways, this is a pristine example of an FZ07, and we're gonna walk through everything that's done on this bike. And later in this video, we're gonna take it out for a maiden MotoVlog. That's right, Yammie Noob is officially back on a motorcycle. Later in this video, you can check out me riding and talking about the FZ. But what I wanna do now is walk through all the details of our new giveaway, and that's gonna get started right now. So what I like to do first is cover the new rules and what we're doing with the Hentai Hornet. On February 1st, I'm going to close down the sweepstakes entry, all the, the Google form that you're able to submit your email and contact info on. That'll be closed, and anyone who hadn't entered, not on the Patreon, will not be able to enter anymore. I will announce the winner of the Hentai Hornet probably like mid-February. It really depends on when I'm able to get it up and running. To be honest, not that I want to get rid of it because I want to do some vlogs on it and I want to get some reactions with it and I want to have some fun with it, but I definitely want to kind of get it rolling and get this up as quick as possible. So all the official details for this bike and the free entry for this bike will begin on February 1st and will end on March 15th. There's gonna be details on the Patreon on how to enter for free, but if you want to enter right now, patrons are automatically signed up. If you are a patron of the series, no matter what, you get entered for all bike drawings. So a quick way to get started on this giveaway would be to sign up for the Patreon, but free entry will start on February 1st and end on March 15th. I'm gonna include the language in the Patreon just so people don't get confused. The drawing for this bike is gonna be on April 1st. So on April 1st, I'm gonna announce the winner of this bike and then make arrangements and figure out who's gonna get it, how we're gonna get it to them, all that kind of good stuff. I think that about covers the logistics of this giveaway. There's more details on the Patreon page, so if you want, check that out. I'm gonna update everything there. And as always, patrons are charged on a per episode basis with a user set cap. So if you don't want to exceed a certain amount of money every month, but you want to contribute on a per episode basis, You can set that up. Every dollar you contribute towards this enters you for an additional chance to win. That means that patrons have a much higher chance of winning than free entries, but you do not have to pay to enter to win this bike. That's the most important part. You do not have to contribute any money to win this bike. Why am I doing this? That's a big question. The reason that I want to do this is because a lot of people that watch my channel are beginner riders, and I would love the opportunity to give them the chance to own and ride a bike like this, because this bike, and I'll go over the details of it in just a minute, is almost literally exactly what I would have bought as a beginner. It's a lightly used, plenty of modifications done to it, stupidly clean FZ, and I want to just go over all the little details right now. The first thing I want to point out is just how clean this FZ is. If you looked at it, you would never guess that it has 7,333 miles on it. It looks literally brand new. Cool thing is, the guy who used to own this bike actually reached out to me on Instagram, which is cool. I don't remember your username, but I did see that you commented on it, and I saw your old photos, and it is indeed his old bike, which is super cool. If you watch my videos, please leave a comment below. This thing's in great shape, man. It's as well taken care of as you'd ever like to see a used motorcycle. It looks like it was garaged most of its life. It looks like it never saw, super hard riding. I did see on the guy's Instagram that it used to have an aftermarket exhaust on it, which we will definitely be doing on this. We're planning on doing a full system on this bike. Yeah, I totally understand why the dude put the stock one back on. Really cool that he kept the stock park and didn't leave the old one on there. That shows that he's hopefully a reasonable and responsible owner. I've ridden this thing around, like I said, MotoVlog later in the video. It rides literally perfect. It doesn't feel like a used bike at all. It feels literally brand new. So moving through here, as I mentioned, stock exhaust over here. We have a perfect shape rear brake caliper here. No signs of wear, no signs of droppage, no signs of, abuse, which is what you want to see in a used motorcycle. You come over here to the engine itself. This motorcycle is powered by a 686cc, a Crossplane 2. They call it the Crossplane 2. It's not, plenty of other manufacturers have this type of engine. Triumph makes a variant of a Crossplane 2. Parallel Twin is not a super unique engine design, but in this particular chassis and in this particular package, it's super fun. I think it's a perfect street bike. Looks like it's in great shape. I think having worked on the Hornet, the first thing I did was when I was looking at this bike was looking at its major components, looking at the cables, looking at how it was taken care of, and it's just it's a world of difference, guys. Like, I can't even stress to you how different this is versus the Hornet in a lot of ways, not just in the fact that it's cleaner, but it's just nicer, So moving on up here, we have actually a aftermarket bar, which totally cool. Totally understand why you'd want to do that. Looks like it had bar end mirrors at some point, but they were popped off and the stock ones were placed back on there. We've got aftermarket bar grips here. It looks like they're Renthals. We've got aftermarket levers. We've got also, as you can tell, aftermarket turn signals here. Got LEDs at the front. Got a HID bulb at the front. It's not an LED, but it looks like he swapped out original bulb in there, which is cool. Also got a little windscreen here. Matching levers on this side. I got a Pro Taper bar, excuse me, didn't say that correctly. And overall, it looks like just like a really clean package. You can tell here that he went through and zip tied these two cables back here, made it nice and tucked. Not sure if he did the work himself or if he got someone to do it for him. Either way, it looks professionally done. It looks very nice. And walking through right here, again, no signs of wear and tear, super clean engine, super clean components. Cables are all in working order. Checking the throttle cable here, everything is within spec. It looks to be tip-top shape. It doesn't look corroded or anything like that. Checking the bottoms here, everything looks to be clean and within working order. Again, rode around this motorcycle, did not notice anything that would cause alarm on it. It doesn't look like any signs of wear and tear at the bottom here. Chain is super clean, sprocket's super clean. I bought this from Freedom Power Sports in Farmers Branch. Picked it up for $5,100 out the door, which was a really great deal in my opinion for this motorcycle. Shout out to them. If they have any more bikes, definitely gonna be buying it from them. It was a super easy process to just get in there, get the bike, get it done. They weren't screwing around, which I really like. Some dealerships, they drag you through the ringer. You're sitting there for hours. You're going back and forth. Like, I came in, had a price in mind, we got to it, got it done. Wheels are in super good shape too. No signs of scratches or anything in the corner. Doesn't look like anyone took a you know, tire spoon and tried to pry some shit off themselves. It's in really good shape, man. This bike is basically new. And one of my favorite things that's on it is actually this integrated rear turn signal. It's really nice. It really cleans up the rear end. Yamaha is known for making some pretty gnarly fender kits on their bikes. Like they come with like this whole spiel and the little bulbs, but this thing looks great. Check this out. On the brake, turn signal, nice and integrated in there. Camera's not catching it perfectly, but it's nice and bright, pops out. It's great. So let's get a quick startup of this thing. Perfect working order, sounds awesome. So with that being said, let's take her for a ride. And just like that, through the power of editing, we are on the FZ07. Hello everyone, it's Yammie Noob on a motorcycle once again. Boy, it's really crazy being back here. Not only because of, you know, the actual act of riding a motorcycle, which funny enough is kind of, you know, feels kind of like muscle memory to me. I didn't really feel any kind of apprehension jumping back on two wheels. I'm not really that afraid of being on two, which is awesome. I was really worried that when I jump back on, I would be very frightened and kind of worried and, you know, not wanting to lean over, but I'm perfectly comfortable with being on a bike, which is cool. It's kind of like they say, the feeling of being on two wheels, you know, riding a motorcycle, it's muscle memory, man. You don't forget it, which is super cool. But I'll tell you what, Papa's being a lot more careful. You can't ride like an idiot anymore, you know? And it's funny, before I made this video, I was looking back at some older MotoVlogs that I had made, and boy, what a different person I feel like I was. Kind of spastic, really kind of all over the place, just excitable, which isn't a bad thing. I think that's part and parcel for being, you know, young 20-something, even though I am still 20-something, I'm only 26, but really excited back to be banging down some gears on the downshift, super fun. One thing I don't recommend that I need to start doing is, I'm wearing my glasses right now when I'm riding, and they're kind of fogging up, so I think I'm going to start wearing my contacts again, at least for when I ride. It's not ideal, but, you know, it is what it is. Not bad being back, though. I think what I'd like to do is be back in this, like, more relaxed way of speaking, perhaps. And it's funny, you know, I've seen comments talking about this on some of my older videos too. People are like, wow, you've changed, but some people say you've changed for the better, and I kind of agree. I think I'm just a little more relaxed. Some people, whenever they meet me, they're like, oh, you're a lot more laid back than I thought you'd be. And I'm like, boy, what aura did I give off that made me seem so, you know, coked out? Maybe it was all the cocaine I did. I didn't do any cocaine, guys. Don't do drugs, guys. Motorcycles are better than any drug. We can make this one. Yep, we're good. I guess, oh, another thing about me and my riding and all that, because I know a lot of people are new to the channel, and they maybe just, like, don't know. Guys, like, I'm not a stranger to motorcycles. It's, I've seen comments lately being like, oh, yeah, well, do you ride? Like, you're a poser, this and that. Come on, dudes. Like, you can watch any of my older videos. I've been riding for, like, 4 years. I've put down many miles in the saddle. Definitely no stranger to bikes. I'm not an expert by any means, but definitely no stranger. So yeah, anyways, back to this bike, the FZ07. This is a peach of a bike, an absolute peach. I have ridden a couple of these from time to time. As I ride it more and more, it kind of feels like a perfect blend between the R3 and the FZ09, whereas it still feels budget in a good way. It doesn't feel, you know, cheap by any means. It just definitely feels like the components that were put on this motorcycle are, you know, they're built to a price, which is cool. That's what the big four always kind of feels that way, you know what I mean? Because of the parallel twin that this engine has, or this bike has, it rides, it's a torquey son of a bitch, that's for sure. It's really fun. To the point where I think it might even be a little too much for beginners, honestly. This is a great starting point, and I think that this is a bike you can totally grow into. And, you know, if you keep the throttle not that heavy, you're gonna be fine. It's not that bad, but, you know, you can quickly kind of get yourself in trouble with this thing. Like, I'll show you up here what I'm talking about, or you can, I mean, it can quickly get away from you. This bike is known for its wheelie potential. It's super torquey. It can definitely pop wheelies, that's for sure.
most likely in the hands of someone a little bit more capable than myself. I am not known for my wheeling abilities, that's for certain. Little pull, you know, just to show you how it can do. So here's third gear. We're at about 4,500 RPM, and we just wick the throttle, and it just goes, man. Yeah, it's got a lot of grunt, honestly, more grunt than I thought it would. I think if you're, you know, you want something that's streetable, like, gosh, this bike is so comfortable too. It doesn't feel as like motard-esque as the FZ09. The FZ09 has this really cool, way more upright seating characteristic to it, and that super duper delicious torquey 3-cylinder lends itself to be really wheelie happy. But man, I think this thing is such a great street bike, man. Holy crap, because it's got a ton of goodies on it already. It's a pristine example of an FZ07. I'm really happy I found one. I was worried I was going to have to buy it new because the used ones that I was looking at were not really going to fit the whole beginner bike giveaway aesthetic. I wanted it to be a super clean bike. Yeah, and you know, these have been documented really, really well on YouTube for having just this excellent throaty bark out of the exhaust. So it's a bike you can be proud of. It's a bike you can street on. Wow. It's a bike that has really good street ability. You can ride it around, and it's really fun. And gosh, it's a high quality bike for sure. I would love to test ride a SV650 against this though, for sure, because it's the natural competitor for this bike. But I just have a bit of a soft spot for Yamahas, that's for sure. I've owned quite a few of them. You know, I actually don't know the power output of this engine. I believe it's like 62 horsepower, 65. I mean, it doesn't really matter though. I think horsepower rankings are a little silly, to be honest. Also, never do this, never sit at a red light with your neutral on, because you want to be ready to go when you're ready to go. But Papa's a little lazy right now. A little lazy. Boy, it is crazy being back though, man. Back making a vlog, I guess. I really do feel the format is so outdated. But, you know, I keep getting comments and DMs, people being like, let's see you back in the saddle, let's see you back in the saddle. I'm like, all right, dude, I mean, that's cool, I don't mind. I love riding, so it's not a big deal to me, but I'm just surprised that people still want to see that, because I find it so boring. You don't want to be judgmental as a rider, but man, it's really hard not to be. I think not wearing a helmet is super duper silly. It's such an easy thing, guys, just like put your helmet on. It's so simple, just leave the house with the helmet on, because you never know what's going to happen. One of the biggest things I missed about being on two wheels, man, is when you pass a bike. What's going on? Okay, it's just over there. One of my favorite things about being on a motorcycle, man, is you pass another one, you get the little wave. I'm sure anyone who rides a bike and also owns a car to like do groceries with or commute with or whatever can attest to the feeling of being in your car and seeing a bike on the other lane, and you want to give them the wave, and you're like, oh, they're not gonna. I want a view, you know, listen to me. I really prefer more upright bikes like this for the street anyways, because I have a torn ligament in my T5 now, and I cracked quite a few of my vertebrae in the wreck. And so for me, it's a lot more comfortable to be on a more upright bike for a longer period of time. I can still ride a super sport, I just need to be in like a more of like a race tuck position with it all the time, so my neck and back don't hurt, because otherwise there's some serious pain in my back if I stay leaned over like that, especially with the GoPro weighting my helmet down. It puts a weird kind of lever on my neck and kind of wedges it or something. It just doesn't feel very good. Boy, there's nothing like being on a motorcycle though, man. And I think it really bucks the trend of, you know, I think as you get more and more into bikes, you feel like you have to own some clapped out R1 or a Super Duke or something crazy like that. But the joy of being on two wheels is found on all motorcycles. All the different bikes I've ridden, they all feel fun to ride. You know, it's always the same feeling of, you know, got your hands on the bars, you got the throttle you can open, and it's just such a good feeling that nothing else can really give you. I've driven plenty of sports cars, and I love the Z, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing like a bike, man. There is nothing like a bike. I saw a comment on Instagram, which, by the way, if you guys aren't following my Instagram, you definitely should. I post on there pretty frequently, and it's a good way to keep up with me when I don't post up videos on YouTube. But I put up there was a comment I saw on there that it was like, oh, why would you give it away? It's so fun. I was kind of like, why wouldn't I give it away? You know, the series is supported by Patreon, and for me, if I even just net out from this thing, that's a blast for me, you know? Like, I got to own this fun motorcycle for 2 months and talk about it and make content with it, and then I get to give it to someone who doesn't have a bike or wants a bike or, you know, wants it. in general, and I think that's awesome. I think that's an opportunity that not a lot of people get. Because for me, I don't really care if the Patreon becomes ROI positive. I would prefer that. That would be fun to make money from it. But if I just even net out from it, or even run a little negative from it, and I just can write it off as like a marketing expense, that's okay with me. Because for some reason, you know, it's funny. I was talking with 650 Eve about this yesterday. We had dinner at this place called Papa Do's, a little seafood place, having seafood, and I was talking about how motorcycle industry folks are still not really ready for this type of alternative media consumption that we have on YouTube for motorcycles in our little niche, right? Plenty of other consumers and companies are figuring this out, that the attention is online, the attention is on these videos, but we just don't get the type of support that a lot of those folks get. So if we're a more established brand, you could get a press bike, you could get a loaner bike for a little bit to do reviews on. But if you're a YouTuber, it's pretty tough to get a press bike. Only a couple of people have been able to actually cement those kinds of deals. I think Chase on Two Wheels struck up a deal with Triumph. I was actually in talks with Triumph for a press bike myself before I crashed my second Daytona, which would have been super fun. They wanted to shoot me over a Street Triple 765. And, you know, no shame. I totally get why they don't want to work with me, like from a business and brand and marketing perspective, because that's my background too. As much as I do love the brand, would love to talk about Triumph more and more in my videos, I still talk about how much I love them, and I love the Daytona, and I love the platform, and I'd never say a bad thing about them, despite having crashed 2 of them. Would never say a bad thing about them. So we don't really get that much industry support for what we do. And so we always have to find kind of alternative ways to do it. It's why I partner with brands like Ridge and Otmo and Manscaped, which I love those brands and I love what they're doing. And I think for my audience, it makes sense. But sometimes I do wish there were more motorcycle specific brands that were willing to work with us. You guys also have to remember there's not a whole lot of money in motorcycling. Huge brands like Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, they function on volume, especially in the Asian markets and developing world markets. For what we're doing, it's a super niche thing, man. It's like not really that profitable for them. So they're just not really interested in us, man. So Patreon and the whole bike giveaway thing, it's kind of a way for influencers and YouTubers, whatever you want to call what we do. It's kind of a way for us to have access to bikes in a different way. That, at least for me, and that's why I'm okay with it netting out. Because for me, making content with a bunch of different bikes is very valuable in the long run, rather than, just trying to make money from the giveaway. And I think it's just a net positive, because as it gets bigger and as it grows, like, you can do nicer bikes. You can do, like, something that I want to do is the next bike giveaway, if this grows and does well with the FZ07, which I think it will, the next thing I'd like to do is do like a package giveaway. Like, I want to do like a $1,500 Revzilla gift card to get you started and get you gear, plus the bike, plus like a second place prize too would be really cool. Just do more traditional sweepstakes style things that people do. I hope I didn't run a stop sign. I don't think I did, but it feels like there should have been a stop sign by now at this place. So yeah, it makes it really fun. It makes it really fun. It makes it's a viable alternative to us as creators. And, from a legal perspective, it's totally kosher. It's not really a thing where people have to worry about it or, discuss if it's legal or not, because quite a few people are doing it. Chase has a lawyer and he's ran it through him, as far as I understand. Great power from this bike, man. Great power. What a strange thing this is, though, MotoVlog. It's so funny to come back to it after so long, in that you just, gosh, it's such a weird format. It's just the dude talking to himself on a bike. I think that's why it's kind of died, honestly, because it's just really bizarre. And I think that it functions really well as, validation for newer riders and all that other stuff. But for, everyone else, like, you can just get out on your own bike and ride. And that was something I noticed after I started riding myself. I stopped really watching motovlogs. I still consume motorcycle content, but motovlogs themselves just became a little strange to me, because I was like, well, I could just ride. I don't need to watch some other dude ride. That's kind of the point, though. I know a lot of folks on my channel are new. They haven't seen riding, and they want to watch people ride, and that's cool, man. We'll do it. I'm excited. So this is a bit of a deep cut, but the very first Yammie Noob video was filmed on here, and you can actually still go and check it out. I think it's still available. I'm just cruising around on my R3 in this little part of town over here. This is White Rock Lake in Dallas. Now, I don't know if it's just my sort of, rusty throttle hand, but this throttle feels a little snatchy to me. FZs have always been known for their snatchy throttle a little bit. I know my 09 had a real sort of light switch throttle. It was either on or off. It did not have a smooth roll onto it. But this might just be... I really do think I'm just chalking it up to my rusty throttle hand, honestly. It's been a minute since I've been on a bike, and already doesn't work the way she used to. So, because as a lot of you know, like in my really big accident I had with the Porsche, I had a lot of nerve damage in my right arm, which was one of the big reasons why I couldn't ride for so long, is I just didn't have that wrist flicking and wrist twisting capability that you need on a bike. And also be able to reach the brake lever, That was the big thing. That was one thing I noticed a lot in my older vlogs too. I just yell a lot. There's a lot of yelling in general with those bikes and those ridings and those vlogs and all that. There was just a lot of goofiness, but in a very immature way. And it's funny because I never saw myself as the type of goofy motovlogger, but boy, I sure fit the bill. There's a lot of cursing in it too, which I just didn't realize that YouTube did not like it when you cursed in those videos. Oh boy, we're going 12 miles an hour here. I think the speed limit here is 25, so I mean this is a little excessive, but that's okay. We're not in a rush, That right there is our greatest enemy with the double yellow. I think it's funny when I make jokes about the double yellow, the Porsche. People are like, I don't know, you're not allowed to make jokes about that, guys. This is my wreck. I'll make as many jokes as I want about it. It's my life, dude. You know? Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed this little maiden voyage on the FZ09. FZ07, wow, FZ09. I'm so used to saying my other bike, my old bike. This is going to be super fun. I'm really excited to give this thing away. I'm really excited to ride it around for a little bit while I own it before giving it away to the lucky winner. And we're going to do a bunch of really cool stuff to this bike. As I mentioned, it's already done up pretty well. The big ticket item is going to be the exhausts. I want to do tank grips on it, frame sliders. I want to get an X mount on there for the winner so they have navigation and phone connectability. I mean, we might be able to do wheels depending on if we get responses back on certain emails. I would love to do bar end mirrors, would be really cool. And what's really fun is it's all up to the patrons for what they decide and what they want to do. So I think that's the most underrated part about this whole thing is the community we've built on the Discord server. We've got our own inside jokes now, 10K Grom, which has been really funny. And so I really think that's a cool part of the community. It's really cool having people join up on there. I am super active on there, so if you're interested in chatting with me for some reason and you just want to see what Yammie Noob is up to and what he thinks about things, Discord's a great way to do that. I'm on there every day for my patrons, several times a day. They can attest to it, hopefully in the comments below, that your boy is in there. He's in there as much as he can be. So that's it, guys. It's going to wrap up today's episode. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to check out for more. And I'll catch you guys next time. See you later.